Excellency President Ibrahim Traore, President of the sovereign nation of Burkina Faso, son of the African soil, defender of his people. May grace and peace be multiplied to you through wisdom, courage, and truth. I received your letter not as a political communique, nor as a demand echoing through diplomatic channels. I received it as the cry of the soul, powerful, principled, and painful, from a son of the continent that has known too much loss, too much silence, and too many broken promises. I have read your words, not once, but many times, and each reading pierced deeper than the last, for in your voice I heard not merely the anger of a president, but the righteous cry of a continent, long wounded by the dual blades of neglect and exploitation. Let me begin now with defense, but with confession. Yes, the Church has, at moments in history, stood beside colonizers, when it should have stood beside the crucified. There were chapters, some long, some shamefully brief, where the mission of salvation became entangled in the machinery of subjugation, where the banner of the cross was hoisted beside flags of empire, and the teachings of Christ were diluted by the ambitions of kings. For these sins, sins of omission and commission, I bow my head in repentance. No institution, however sacred, is above self-examination, and if the Church is to remain a beacon, it must not only shine light outward, it must shine it within. You asked, will this papacy be different? And to that I reply, not only will it be different, it must be. For too long the African voice has been heard only in whispers. Your leaders have been praised only when they were pliable, and demonized when they dared to defy unjust systems. Your resources have been extracted while your people were left to scavenge what was theirs to begin with. But Africa is not a charity case. Africa is not a patient waiting for the West to administer spiritual or political anesthesia. Africa is the cradle of courage, the wellspring of song, the pulse of prophecy. It is not the world's burden, it is its teacher. Let me speak plainly, as you did, President Traore, on colonial legacy. President Traore, you spoke of chains not only of those that bound the bodies of our ancestors, but the invisible ones that still clutch at the soul of Africa. Let us speak truth, not as adversaries, but as men burdened with memory. Colonialism was not simply a political conquest, it was a spiritual betrayal. It was not just the theft of land, but the attempted erasure of identity. Entire civilizations with their poetry, their proverbs, their cosmologies, their sacred rhythms were silenced under foreign flags and foreign gods. The missionaries, some sincere, came with crosses in one hand, but behind them followed gunboats, traders, and governors with contracts of domination, baptismal. Fonts were built next to whips. Scriptures were preached beside swords. The story of Christ who came to liberate was too often retold in the language of control, and though many of those missionaries gave their lives in service, and some stood up to the powers of empire, the broader truth remains. The Church did not always stand with the oppressed. Too often it stood with the conqueror. I confess this not as a political calculation, but as a moral reckoning. Because if the Church is to truly mirror Christ, then it must weep where Christ would weep.
So if the Pope himself has accepted that President Ibrahim Traore is great, so who else, why the Western world is trying to go against this? It is the biggest question that each and everyone is still asking themselves. But from today's clip that I was watching that is trending online, I saw President Macron said somewhere that he owns more than 20 African countries. All along we've been staying in Africa without our knowledge that we have been sold. We are living in a land that does not belong to us. Some of us have been buying lands, you buy house, you buy whatever you do. But now it's coming out in truth that the land of this particular countries does not belong to the continent of Africa, or rather does not belong to African. It belongs to the West. That is one of them being Burkina Faso. And that is the reason why you're seeing the West, they're doing each and everything possible to ensure that they take back their land. That's why you saw the other day they invaded the country and they killed more than 100 soldiers for the sake of tarnishing the name of President Ibrahim Traore, and at the end of the day to win, so that BBC was there to spread this propaganda, and now African are like, it's too much and it's past that. And now, as I continue to what Pope was, as you have watched the clip, as you can see there, Pope has said he has agreed that Ibrahim Traore is a truthful man, and his actions are very, very much evident. His actions, they are very, very evident, because in a span of just 2 years, he has changed so much in the country of Burkina Faso. So what does it tell you? It means that we have all along been having oppressors in the house. We have always been having the mole in the house, the mole that has been biting our maize, the mole that has been biting our clothes. And now today, it's coming out truly that President Ibrahim Traore is trying with all means to ensure that this mole dies. And now, just a few minutes ago, I was walking in the street live, and I heard a young man saying that it's past that era whereby you will find people they are lied to, they are given rumors, they are given propaganda, and they could buy that. He also said this generation is the generation for the Gen Zs. And he said, if anything happens to the president of Burkina Faso, that means the whole world will be into mess. Everyone will be against, they will be against the West. So I don't know why the West have given themselves a responsibility of, they have given themselves Africa to be their responsibility. If someone does not need you in his house, why do you keep on forcing issues? Why do you keep on calling them? Why do you keep on texting them? And they have just told you, we do not want your stories. It's the same thing. It's the same way a boy could approach a lady, and when the lady says, I do not want your stories, it's, as much as the African, we say, you keep on until, that is now the good lady. That's a good lady, at the end of the day, she will give in, and that will be a lady. That is a sign of a good lady. But now when it comes to matters of foreign affairs, matters that involves political stories, it does not go that way. It's high time that the West should leave Africa alone, because they have been identified as the mole. It is the mole that is biting. It's biting our clothes. It's biting our mazes in the stores. It's destroying everything. I gave you an example of Muammar Gaddafi. Muammar Gaddafi died miserably, but at the moment, as you can see, by the way, if that is the kind of if that is what you call democracy, then why do Africa need that kind of democracy? For sure. Why do African need that kind of democracy? It does not make sense at all. Yeah. As we speak right now, Libya looks like hell. Yeah. For lack of a better word, Libya looks like hell. I continue. The Pope Leo XIV also said we should now start, according to the statement of how I understood it, it's like, now Africa, you need to wake up and start making your own policies that go as per your interest. Someone does not need to make policies for you. It is too late. It's now most of these countries, African countries, they are 60 years and above since they attained the independence. And now, until today, we are still depending for someone somewhere to sit down and draw a strategy for us. It is too late. It is too late for us to continue that way. We need to wake up right now. We need to march. If it's marching on the street, let us march globally. Let it be known that now Africa has waken up. Africa needs all that it takes. Africa does not need to be exploited anymore. Their resources have been exploited in a very bad way. It has been exploited in a bad manner, and it's high time now they need their own resources to continue. He also said, do not do what? Do not sideline on the side of the colonialists. You know, if you colonized our country, you gave us our freedom. It's high time that we continue with our own life. You brought what you brought. And now, give us time now to move on with what you brought to Africa. Give us time to digest. Give us also time to show you that whatever, you know, when you have a student and you have taught, if you have taught, even if it's mathematics, at the end of the day, you need to give them some exam and know whether this student understood, you know. So it's high time Africa should be left alone, and not at least they still come back to you and say, you know what, guys, we wanted this thing, and now as a matter of fact, we are not capable of proceeding with this. We are not capable of continuing with this. So please just come back. Yes, it is high time now we leave the minds of the colonialists. Let's move on. Let's focus. Let's transform our world. No one else is going to transform this world. Burkina Faso has led. And the other day I saw the Gabon president also ran away, rushed to Angola. Why is he doing this? It's because they know very well whatever they were doing, the business that they used to conduct with the West wasn't right. That's why they are running away, because the truth has been known. You know, and some of the ministers were arrested for corruption cases. You know, it is the same thing that needs to apply across all African nations, and by doing that, we will surely grow. My name is Isaac Wabomba, and for more of this kind of content, please ensure you subscribe, you comment, and if possible, you share it out. Thank you, and bye-bye.